Okay, so now let's begin the session. I hope everyone has joined. So, hello everyone, welcome you all in today's session. Hope you all are doing good. Myself, Arshma Said, the host for today's session. The topic of today's event is Mitacs Research Internship. Mitex is a non-profit research organization that drives R&D creation by connecting the private sector with the best post-secondary institution to address organizational changes. Mitex has been funding cutting-edge research, creating job opportunity for graduate students, and assisting businesses in reaching the objectives for the past 20 years. Now let's begin with the speaker's introduction. In today's session, we have four speakers who got selected as MyTech Research Internship Scholars for 2022. We have with us Mohammad Zain, who is pursuing BTech in Electronics Engineering from Aligarh Muslim University. He is currently doing his internship at University de Sherbrooke, Canada under Professor Serge Ecofy on the project titled Neuromorphic Electronics for Artificial Intelligence at the Edge. Our second speaker, Ifra Andali from AMU, is a machine learning enthusiast working on CNN-based algorithm and is pursuing her bachelor's in electronics engineering. She is doing her research internship at École de Technologie Supérieure, Montreal on project titled Deep Learning for Computer-Assisted Radiology under Professor Louis Young. Our next speaker is Laiba Khalid, who is doing her research at the University of Toronto under Professor Paul Govro on applications of machine learning to bridge design. Then we have Kuar Anik Khan, who is currently doing BTech in Civil Engineering from Jamia Millia Islamia and is working on the project titled Generation of Climate Data for Geotechnical and Geoenvironmental Problems from York University under Professor Rashid Bashir. Now I request Mr. Mohammad Zain to come up with his presentation. Sir, please go ahead.
So, Assalamu alaikum, and thank you for such a kind introduction. And Ifra and me have prepared this same slide, and we'll be presenting it together. So, just let me know if you can, see the presentation, and then we can maybe begin. I hope it's visible to you all.
Yes, it is visible.
Okay. So let me just start with this. So I'll introduce myself. I'm Mohammad Zan, and I'm in my third year of electronics engineering at Aligarh Muslim University. I got selected at the University of Sherbrooke in Quebec, Canada, and I will be working on the project of neuromorphic electronics for artificial intelligence at the edge. Now I would like Ifra to introduce herself.
Okay, so Assalamu alaikum everyone. This is Ifran Lead, also an undergraduate at Aligarh Muslim University. So I have been selected for a project called Deep Learning Based Computer Assisted Radiology at ETS Montreal. So yeah, that's all about our introductions. Let's move ahead.
Okay, so I'll just start with because it's about Mitacs. So I'll just start with the brief of what Mitacs is, and then I will elaborate slightly on the Global Link Research Internship, which is an initiative by Mitacs. So Mitacs is a Canadian non-profit organization that powers research and development by connecting both industry and academia. They are funded by the Canadian government both at the federal level and the provincial level. So they are a government-funded organization. And one of the most main objectives is to train graduate and undergraduate students to have good research careers in both academia as well as industry. So Global Link Research Internship, or Mitacs GRI as it most popularly called, is a competitive initiative for international undergraduates from around 16 countries, which includes the UK, the USA, and obviously India, among others. So the GRI program is there to generate a talent pipeline. They have supported over 2,000 plus students from India, and it was started back in 2009 when around 12 students from India itself went to the University of British Columbia. So it gives the opportunity for the selected students to conduct research project under a Canadian supervisor for a period of 12 weeks. And it's just not a research experience. One of the main aim of the internship is to promote higher education in Canada. So it's more of a cultural experience as well, because you get to have all these training programs, and you get to go on these trips, which is organized by Mitacs itself. And the best thing about is that all of the research projects that are in Mitacs are validated by their team. So they ensure that the projects are indeed legitimate, and they can be completed in a span of about 12 weeks. So yeah, this is about the Global Link Research Internship. And I would just now like to invite Ifra to tell you about the eligibility for the program.
So yeah, moving ahead, to start with an internship, you should definitely check the eligibility criteria. Here we have like mentioned 3 points. The first goes pre-final year of UG. That is, you should have at least a semester left and not more than 3 semesters left after you complete the internship. Meaning that you should be in the third year of your 4 year bachelor's degree, which is BTech. Or if you are in second year and you are in BSc, you can definitely apply again. Then comes the availability. This is like after you are done with the internship, meaning you should be available for at least 12 weeks for the internship period. Then comes the strong academics and English proficiency. The minimum percentage needed to be eligible for the Mitacs internship is 75%, and you should definitely have strong communication skills either in English or French, since you're going for an internship which is going to be in English or French. Then moving ahead, Zen, can you? Yeah. Then comes the application timeline. This is like the most important slide. So my tax portal opens up for new applications around 10th of August, and I would advise you to keep checking the portal and start filling the application the day the portal opens, so that you have enough time to just finalize everything, your application, before the submission date, which is in the last week of September. As far as I remember, last year it was 25th of September, the closing date. And after moving on, in November, MyTax sends a mail telling you about the status of your application. Basically, there are three categories. The first one is the CUC, which is the candidate under consideration. This means that you are eligible for the second round or the interview round. Then comes the waitlisted candidates. This means that you have to wait, but you are still eligible for the second round, which is the interview round. Then comes the rejection part, which means that you are like no longer able to continue for that. Okay. Then comes once you get a CUC mail, this will mean that your application has been provided to the host professors, and you may be contacted by them to interview you by email or online video, that is via Skype, Zoom, or Google Meet. And one thing to note is that do not contact a professor unless they have requested you to do so through a mail. And also, please diligently check your emails, including your spam or junk for folders for any emails from your professors. Then now interviews are generally like two types, which we will be explaining in the further slides. Then first round comes to an end in around mid of December, and you will get a mail confirming your selection or rejection. Then after the first round ends, and if seats are still available, then second round selection starts in January, and the results come out in February. Finally, you will be able to generate your award letter in the last week of February. And after that, you can just start preparing for immigration, visa applications, and other stuff. So yeah, moving on to the benefits. MyTax, this is one of the most prestigious internships of all times. So benefits, you can see the development. Students will not only develop their technical skills, as Jen mentioned, it is more of a cultural internship. So you will get a chance to you will get a chance to fasten up your networking and professionalism, definitely. Then Mitacs also covers all the expenses, including your travel from India to Canada and from Canada back to India, and your stay there, your accommodation, your food. And this year, Mitacs also provides us with the COVID, some of the COVID funds as well. Then one of the most important thing about Mitacs is that it also provides master's opportunity. So after completion of the internship, you will be a Mitacs fellow, a fellow scholar, and the fellowship program will provide you of around 15,000 CAD as a financial support for full master's program, which will approximately cover up to your 1 year tuition fees. So yeah, that's all for the benefits. Moving on.
Now, what we would like to discuss is the tips and the star points which work for us to get this internship. Just a disclaimer before we begin this slide is I don't believe that there is a single algorithm which, if you follow step by step, and which would allow you to get selected in the internship. Because it's sometimes it's whether you're lucky or not, but this is the advice which we gather from our seniors, from our mentors, and our personal experience, and we try to compile that so someone would have a better chance of getting selected according to us. So yeah, so first of all, I think your portfolio is really important, and what I like to do is I generally divide my portfolio into majorly 5 aspects. The internships I've done, the projects I've done, my academics, soft skills, and extracurricular activities. I just have a broad look at them and see which one is weak or which one I need to work on. So I'll just give you a brief example of why each of these aspects are important. So the internships you have done are important in the sense that it allows your application to showcase that you have skills that are used in the real world. That is, you're applying what you're studying, and it's just not about textbook reading, or you have real world experience working in a team and whatnot. Extracurricular activities include participation in your club, or it could include some event that you have organized. So it just tells the person who is selecting you that you're a team player, that you know how to work in a team, that you know how to collaborate, that you have leadership experience. All in all, you have a well-rounded personality. You're just not into books. You are just not into a specific task. You can speak. You can lead, stuff like that. And the third is academics. Academics is definitely important. This is one of the most important questions which generally comes up to the applicants. Is CPI important? Mitacs on their official website does mention CPI as the first selection criteria in their application, so it is definitely important, but I wouldn't go as far as to say that if you have a low CPI you have no chances of getting selected. I've seen students with very average CPIs getting selected, but you would have to work in some other areas to compensate for that. So for the students who are in their first year and second year, I do highly recommend to try to maintain at least a decent CPI, so you have a good chance in internship. Soft skills definitely help. It helps in your application process. It helps us you to sort of explain what you're doing if you have good writing skills, so you can explain it much better. But I think it's more important when in the interviews phase, more in the application phase. But because in the application phase you can take the advice of your seniors and your mentors, they can help you orient your application. But in the interview phase you're on your own, so it's up to you how you communicate, whether you are talking about the right things or not, whether you're polite or not. So yeah, soft skills is also definitely a thing that you should work on. And yeah, that's about it. So now just like, I think Ifra would like to add something to this, because she had a publication, so I think she should add in this.
Yeah, definitely. So most of my like our college juniors ask us about publications and stuff. So in second year, it's definitely very tough to get a publication. But if you get a publication that does not confirm your like if you are going to get selected into Mitacs, and it is a necessary thing in Mitacs since it is a research internship. Most of my friends who had publications still did not get selected for Mitacs. But my friends like Zen also did not have any publication at that time, but he's still in. So yeah, paper publication are not necessary, but it will definitely give you an edge from above all the students. So yeah, that's from a personal experience from my side.
Okay, so now I think this is one of the most one of the most important slides that we have made. So before when my tax first opened its applications, the first thing that you have to do is they give you a list of really exhaustive resource projects that are available to them. It may be around more than 1500 plus projects, and it's up to you to rank 7 projects. The only constraint that you really have is that you can only apply to up to 3 projects in the same province. So province in Canada is much like what states are in India. Canada is divided into provinces, and you can only apply to 3 research projects in a single province, if that makes sense. I think this is the most important part of application, because on that basis they actually forward you to the professor or not. So I think this is when the first list come. I think it's really important that you spend a lot of time in analyzing which project is right for you. What I did was, and I think what Ifra did too, was, divide the projects on the basis of 4 major criteria, and we started, scoring on these criteria and decided that which project was the best for us. The 4 criteria are the research interest, skill set, university ranking, and past research work of professor. So your research interest is really important, because you have to take to the fact that it's a 3-month internship, and you should not be working in a domain which you don't like. All right, and it should not be a domain which you feel that it does not have a future. And more important than that, it's important that you select the project that you have actually relevant research interest in. For me personally, I applied to the projects in embedded, in digital real SI. All the projects I already had done or was doing. So this helped me to substantiate the fact that why I'm interested in the project, because it does not seem right to just write about that I'm interested in this project because I find it really fascinating, or I find it that it has a lot of future scope. For example, if you're applying to quantum computing and you just say that I find it really interesting, it does not make that much sense, because you haven't really worked on that. So try to limit yourself to the projects which you have already past research experience on, and try to target those internships, those projects which you would actually want to work in. The second was skill set. So the projects which Mitacs gives you, it's actually really descriptive. They have research description, why the project is relevant, the importance of the project, and what you are required to do. And there is a small section in which they mention the skill sets of the student, the required skill set. So this part is also really important. I think this is one of the major part you should filter your projects by, because for example, the first thing you should do is search for the projects which exactly match your skill sets. These should be the projects you should put higher into priority, because and try to make your skills a little bit unique, so it gives you a little bit of edge. For example, if you have worked on maybe Verilog, then I think that's a skill that you should definitely mention, and you should aim for projects that want Verilog as a skill. You could also go into projects which your skill set would not match 100% of the time, because but there could be some skills which you could learn in a month or so. For example, there could be Python libraries that you could learn in month or two. But I would not advise you to go above and beyond in that, because there are some skills which you cannot gain in a short period of time. For example, I don't know Java, so I wouldn't apply to a project which requires Java, because it takes a long time to learn a new language. So yeah, and just now for the rest of the 2 criteria, I would now like to ask Ifra to continue with that.
Okay, then comes the university ranking. So it is like one of the most important criteria to select your project. So you get a chance to select 7 projects, and according to us, you should definitely keep in mind that the university rankings in Canada. You shouldn't only select the top-notch universities starting from 1 to 10 or 1 to 15. You should also aim for universities that have a little low rank, like 20 to 30. The funds are just the same. Like the first rank university would get the fund. The student who got selected in the first rank university will get the same funds, will get the same opportunities as the student who got selected in the 30th rank university. So university rank doesn't like really matters, but yeah, try to select at least 1 or 2 universities that have a good ranking, so which might be helpful in your masters. Moving on to past research work of your professor. So Mitacs does not only ends with the internship opportunity. Most of the people who are applying to Mitacs have this aim to pursue their masters in Canada, since Mitacs give you half of the funds, like gives you a 1 year of your tuition fee. This point would work here. What you can do is, while selecting your project, you can go through the professor's Google Scholar profile, check his publications or citations, and check if the professor has funds or not. So he might get impressed with your work and provide you funds for your masters. Like, I have heard people like my seniors who did not even completed their project because of COVID last year, but they cold emailed their professors, or they kept in touch with their professors, and the professor had funds, so they provided them with a better opportunity for masters there. So this can definitely work in your case as well if you're lucky enough. Yeah, then moving on to the interview experiences. Yeah. So after you get CUC in first round, you some of the professors call you for your interview. Not all of them, like you select 7 projects, and not all 7 professors will interview you. Only a few of them will interview you, and it's not and even if nobody calls you for an interview, there is still chance, there is still hope that you will get selected, because most professors select you on the basis of your CV. So by chance you get into an interview. So my personal experience was that I got interviewed by a female professor, and she divided the interview in 3 parts. In the first part, she prepared a presentation, a PowerPoint presentation. She explained me about the work and what she demands from me, what experiences she's looking for, and all of that, what skill sets she's looking for. Then she gave me the time to introduce myself. This is the time where you can have an impression on the professor. You should explain your CV, at least your CV. You should explain your projects and all the stuff that you have done in the past. And you should also relate things to her project, like why you selected her project only, what was the main things that you got attracted to, and what was something in her project that you wanted to do, and how do you think you will be an asset for the professor. Then moving on to the third part, she just shared a link with me where I had to showcase my programming skills. So she just gave me 2 or 3 questions where she was just speaking the questions, and I had to code it out, like the programming skills. Since I applied for a deep learning project, that's why she like asked me to code stuff. If you're applying for a project where you do not need programming skills, your professor might not ask you to just code anything out. So yeah, this was like my personal interview experience. Let's hear from what Zen has to say.
Okay,
Here I would like to introduce Laiba Khalid and Anil Khan. Uh, so now let's start with our panel discussion, where we discuss the experience we have had with our different interns. So let's go with you, Laiba.
Now it's time for the panel discussion. Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am, for the presentation. Now there are a few questions that are related to Mitacs. And before that, it is requested to all the attendees to write their queries in the given chat box, and it will be taken at the end of the session. So the following questions are there many more different research oriented fields, or it is limited to just a few of them?
You can apply to any field. Engineering field is also there. You can even apply to pol science. I know a student of AMU got selected in life science field.
And a student from AMU also got selected in the field of business. So yeah, there are a lot of fields that there are, and it's not only a few of them. A few, just like to add, a few are really popular. You will find a lot of projects on artificial intelligence and machine learning, but at the same time, there are a lot of different projects in different areas as well. Yeah.
Okay, so next question is, what do you think are the benefits of doing an international research internship?
Get masters, you get to do masters in Canada, of course, in universities, good universities, plus you get a lot of exposure once you go to, because generally they invite you. Last year it was online, but we are getting to go there and You get to meet professors, you build connections, and of course you explore the city, the place. It's really good. There are a lot of things that you do, so it's always good to apply abroad.
Okay, so the next question is, what's your opinion how difficult it is to contact the professor of the universities around the world, and did they reply to all the emails you sent?
Cold emailing can be quite a tiresome process. One tip I would like to give is if the professor is not replying, then you can search his research team and ask someone on his research team, build connection. Like what I did was I found an AMU alumni in CAU, Kyle, Germany. So I contacted him and I talked with him, chatted with him, and then asked him to ask his supervisor to if is there is a project he's working on or is a, project I can help him. So that's how I got my first internship in Germany. You can do that too.
Even here, professors, when like you're chosen for a project, there are many professors who don't respond to your emails in the beginning, but then later on when they see that yes, deadlines are approaching and they also have to fill in stuff, so they do. Like my professor, he didn't reply for like 2 months, but then I had sent him like 4 mails, and then finally he did. And then now he does, like he replies to every mail within a day, so they get a little in during the deadline they do reply.
Okay, so the next question is, what were your interview experiences? First by Mohammed Zaid.
Okay, so I actually had uh, two interviews on the same day because deadline was approaching, and because of my exams I wasn't able to get them. So my first interview experience was a little bit different because I received an email just after a few days after I received my CUC, and in that email the professor who sort of selected me for the interview sent me a programming assignment. So there were around 4 to 5 questions on programming. And the first question was, a coding assignment in which I have to train a machine learning model to solve a really simple trigonometric equation. And then I had questions on that. And so on the day of the interview, the whole interview, I think it lasted for half an hour. And for 25 minutes, we discussed that programming assignment that he gave me. And, he also pointed out the things which I could have done better, and some things he found interesting that the way I did it. So, yeah, so that was my first experience. My second experience was from the University of Sherbrooke, where I got selected. And in that experience, it was not a very technical interview. It was more of a popular discussion on the topic. So it was, we talked for, I think, around an hour. And in that, we discussed why I was filling for that research project and what do I see neuromorphic in a few years, and stuff like that. So it's more of a popular discussion, a few technical questions here and there, but yeah, that was my experience.
Okay, so now Laiba Khalid, please share your interview experience.
Yeah, I when I was invited for interview, firstly I didn't get selected to the project for the project that I was interviewed for. So this interview, professor, he asked me like he wanted to take an interview, like a 5 minutes interview, and he said that can we do an interview like tonight. So I just had like a day, and then I was like, I contacted Hamza Bhaiya for this, and I was like, you please tell me what am I supposed to do, and what am I supposed to prepare. So he said that okay, interviews are a little tough, tricky, and he sent me a little material and I did. But when the interview started, he had told me that he wanted to take just 5 minutes, and it was only for like 3 minutes. He asked me, okay, how are you, and why do you want to come to Canada? What are your further plans, future plans? Like, okay, what do you want to do? I said, I want to pursue masters. So he said, okay, and what do you expect from us? So I said, okay, this is like the question I have, and if you can explain me. So like, okay, so let's see what happens, and that's it. So it was a very simple interview, like literally 3 minutes.
Okay, so now Mr. Puanikhar, what was your interview experience?
I got an interview call from one professor in the project I got selected in, and he only gave me a few hours. It's 6 or 7 hours, and he said if you can if we can have a chat in the evening, and I said yes, and we went. He asked me, but it was most of a discussion type. He first talked to me about my home university where I'm from. He talked about a little bit about myself. Then he asked me about my research experience, what I had done previously, and what field am I exactly interested in. I talked to him about my research interest in geotechnical engineering, which is the project is all about. This project is about geotechnical engineering, and my previous research work was also in the field of geotechnical and geoenvironment. So I told him that I did my this research internship and other projects in the same field. So he was quite impressed, and I had genuinely had interest in his project. That's why I asked him a lot of questions. He asked me a few questions, but I asked him more questions than that. And yeah, that's all. Yeah, and a few days later, I got the notification that he had selected me for the. Uh, yeah, that's all.
Okay, okay. So, Miss Ifranjali, what was your interview experience?
I think I already explained my interview experience.
Okay, okay. So the next question is like, apart from Mitecs, are there any other international research internship programs?
Yes, there's a very famous DAD internship, DAAD, which is in Germany. It is also fully funded. And there are, I think, internships in Japan as well. I'm not sure about the names, but yes, in Germany, this DAAD is very famous. So yeah, it's also a good internship.
There are a bunch of internships like that DAD and Mitacs are the more famous one, and you can apply at ETH Zurich. It's a very popular one too, and Switzerland EPSFL, I guess.
Yeah,
There are
EPFL.
a bunch of EPFL. But the DAD one is like you have to mail and stuff, so prepare for it earlier, and you have to find a research internship on your own. So prepare for that one differently than you would for other internships.
On this note, I'd just like to add, I think there are many research internships, and funnily enough, you get eligible for most of them in your second year itself. So I applied to EPFL at the rate summer. It's a very competitive internship, and only around 1% of the applicants get selected. But it's a really elaborate process. They ask you a full page statement of purpose. So I'd just like to add that, just apply in these internships, and so it will help you prepare your application for future, because if you have a SOP in your second year itself and you know the application process, it helps a lot. So I applied in EPFL at the rate summer. I applied to OIST Japan. I also applied to uh, there is this one internship at Aalto University in Finland. There's also very good internship at KUST Saudi Arabia. So the advantage of that is that it's available all year round. So you can just search for a research project, and if you think you like it, just apply it any time of the year, and yeah, you can get selected. So yeah, NTU Singapore is also a very good option. It's very prestigious, NTU Singapore. One is IST Austria, but I think due to COVID, Indians are not eligible. At least at least in 2021 they were not. So yeah, I think I can maybe I can share a comprehensive list of these internships after the panel or in the comments if I can find it.
I will share a link in the chat box. I have a GitHub link. It's a compilation of all the research internship, Indian and international. It was very helpful for the juniors. Yeah, this one. But do mind you that the dates written on this website is a bit off. It's an old link, right? So check on the links first.
Okay, so the next question is, last but not least, what is the minimum CGPA and the eligibility criteria for getting any foreign internship?
Okay, so it varies by internship. For Mitacs, I think it's 8/10, if I remember correctly. For EPFL, it was 8.5, or they actually work in 4 by a system grade point of 5. So you have to have a CPI of more than 4, and so it varies by internship. But I think general rule of thumb is if you are above 8.5, then you're good. You don't have to worry. But below 8.5, you might have to check the eligibility criteria.
Okay, so what motivated you to go for this internship?
To be honest, most of us had I had aim of doing a master's from abroad. So this internship is a particularly good one for that because it will give us a fellowship, and the contacts we will make in Canada will go a long way.
Okay, so did you struggle in working with them? How is their culture of working different from ours?
We didn't really go there till now, so we can't say how
Yeah.
they will do it.
Yeah, the only
Even
difference we
then,
face, the only difficulty I faced, I did a project with a Canadian professor, Canadian student. But the only difficulty I faced was there's the time difference. We used to have meetings at 12 o'clock in the evening, 1 o'clock in the in the night. I mean, so that thing is very difficult.
Okay, so now we move to Q&A session. So Mohammed Safaz Alam is asked, do internships at startups help even if it's not research based?
Yeah, I think it definitely helps. I think what matters at our stage is more whether you can verify that the skills you're writing is actually you have worked on it or not. So I don't think it matters greatly that whether you had a research internship or not. For example, if you are writing that you are good at PyTorch and your internship experience, you can elaborate on that you build a model in that internship, then yeah, that would help. It's how you orient your application, that's what important. In at your stage or in your second or your third year, I don't think anyone is really expecting you to have a research internship particularly. Just a general internship I think is good.
Okay, so
they do actually good internship, good research internships. They help you land in a good university for masters, like really, and especially if now I think it's a requirement. Maybe not. I would say, but even then, if you do a lot of research, it could be with your home professors here in Delhi in your own college, or like it could be a foreign internship. All of these they help you. If you have a research paper and these publications, they're very important.
okay, so the next question is what kind of stuff?
I would like to add to this that sometimes your profile is in a different area and still professor invites you for the internship. So that
Like
is
they did
also
to me.
yeah.
I really didn't have had any like any research paper or anything, but then yes, this is valuable. Like they do consider based on your CV, on your resume. They do.
Okay, so the next question is what kind of stuff were you asked to code exactly?
For me, I was asked to, there was this trigonometric equation, and I had to do a simple linear regression, and through that, I had to fit that model and make the model, I increase the accuracy of that model, and I had to do that with the least resourcefulness because that was the main orientation of that project. That it should be resource intensive. So that was the problem, and the questions were based on more like, is there a better approach, and uh, what can you do further to make the resource utilization less and stuff like that. So it was for me it was I think it was a pretty basic problem. So if you just have a general idea of machine learning, I think anybody could have done it. Yeah.
Okay, so what was the topic of your deep learning project and what kind of profile you had apart from publication?
Okay, I think this one is for me. What was the topic of your? Okay, the project I got selected in is deep learning based computer assisted radiology. So it's more of what projects I've already done in the past. It basically requires collection of data set and then training your model and then predicting a disease. So I had a paper publication which was based on COVID-19 prediction, and this was somewhat similar to this. And in my section where I wrote down my projects, there was this section where I also mentioned about a project where I predicted brain tumor diseases and stuff. So yeah, it's kind of very much related to the project that I applied to. So yeah, that's why maybe I got selected for it. So this was my experience.
Okay, so moving ahead, can a student from engineering background get selected for internship in management field?
Yeah, definitely. I think we have example in our own university. One of the student at electrical engineering from our university got selected in a management-based internship through Mitacs. So yeah, that's possible definitely.
Just to add to this, he has been working in the business side for from the first year itself. So if you have you can just prove that you have genuine interest and good background. I think you can get selected in a very different field from what your branch is in.
Okay, so the next question is, in which skill we should be good before applying for this internship related to CS hardware subjects?
Okay, all right. So I don't think there's a very general thing which I can say because different project varies. Some projects, for example, the best example I can give you at the time of my application, I was just starting to learning Verilog, and there was projects which were asking for VHDL, so I wasn't eligible for those, I think. So I think the general trend is you should know a HDL language, so that really helps. Verilog or VHDL. You should, I think, experience on any PCB software such as Altium or DipTrace or Eagle also helps. And yeah, I think just Arduino embedded systems also help. Experience on microcontrollers is really helpful, and if you have worked on GPUs, I think that helps. But it really depends on what the project is asking. But I think the general trend is that you should know HDL and you should know PCB designing. I think that's what covers it.
And I think computer architecture and microprocessor background needs to be there also, because they at times ask for those questions. I remember from my experience in back in 2021 that at University of Waterloo, they talk in depth about very long the designs, the digital system designs I had created. So that is also at times. So you cannot count that it is into computer science or it is into electronics, but it is the interface of both the engineering. So they have a lot of expectations from
Okay, so the next question is, do passed out undergraduate can apply for these internships?
These
Sa-
are, yeah, good.
no, no, I think you start speaking
So
first.
these are mostly the third year undergrads are mostly eligible. But if you are in a 5 year course, then I think fourth year undergrads can be also applicable eligible. Yeah, but pass out undergraduate graduate student can, I don't think they can apply for this. But you can apply for IITs or fellowships in full time fellowships in these universities. So yeah, you can do that. Mitas has many other programs to like accelerate my steps. Mitacs accelerate program. You can go for a 6 month or a 2 year internship too, which is will be fully funded after your graduation. Yeah.
Mm, okay. As mentioned, good in academics, will they be testing us on our BTech syllabus as well? As an online, we are scoring without studying theory due to OBE.
So, okay. So they actually don't know the VTech syllabus that we are covering. So they won't. So don't expect question that they would ask you a gate question and that you have to solve it on paper and give the answer. It won't be like that. But yes, it might cover. For example, I think in the case of Hamza's my interview experience and to some extent my interview experience and some other friends which I talked to, there have been questions about generally stuff which is covered in our BTech syllabus, but it could have been asked to any of the electrical engineering or a chemical engineering student because just it was relevant to the project. So no, they won't go to the BTech syllabus you are actually studying, but they would be asking questions which is related to the research project.
Okay, so is foreign internship require high money?
Most of these are
It is fully
fully
funded.
funded. Yeah. Don't go for the scammers. Someone else says they give us 1 or 2 lakh
Yeah,
and we will.
schemes, these internships. Don't just go for any of these. But then again, they're fully funded, so they're very helpful. In fact, one of my senior like said, he told me that he even bought some money back. Like I think we don't expect, because in our case it is COVID and we are maybe going to spend from our side. We might need to, but then it would be very less. But that senior, he went into 2019, so he said that he even got to bring some money back. So that's good. You can save that. It's up to you what you choose and what you make, what decisions you make.
Okay, so how much you know about artificial intelligence and machine learning, and what is your project related to?
Okay, I think this one is for me. So I cannot like tell you how much I know about machine learning and artificial intelligence. Uh, that's really, yeah. So my project is related to radiology and deep learning. Like what basically I do in machine learning is deep learning. I have also worked in GANs and yeah, vision transformers, style transfer, and all of that stuff. But what basically I provided in my CV was related to prediction, training the models, collecting data sets, and all that. So my project is related to that only, where I would need to go to this clinic where I had to collect the data set, and then I had to go through algorithms and train the model or to get prediction results. And then after training the model and finding the accuracy and precision of the model, I need to like write a research paper along with my professor. So yeah, that's all about my project that I'm going to do there.
Okay, so can internship in IIT is good or worse in terms of foreign placement?
So
IIT's
I guess
internship will be very good because these are the like the these are these have the best infrastructure in labs, IITs, so their experience will go a long way.
yeah, I think internship should be more about which professor you are doing under and the research project you're doing. I think if that's the professor is really good and he has great publications and he has a good reputation in the academic circles, and the research project is really relevant to you and you want to work on it. So I don't think it does matter that you are doing it in a foreign university or you are doing it from IIT or not. I think that's the first point that you should consider. Foreign internship, I think, does give you a sort of cultural experience and growth. But I think if you go to another city, I think it's more or less you can evaluate that there too. So yeah.
Yeah, you can even choose professors from your own university. It's better if you approach them. They might help you in publications, and they're very helpful. Like in Jamia, also you can find professors like that. Plus, also a very important thing that when you apply for Mitacs, they ask for a transcript, and here in Jamia, they take 12 days to issue it. It's a really hectic procedure. So you should always, the first thing you should do is to get a transcript, apply for it. And I did. They gave it to me. They gave me the transcript in 10 days, and I asked for like in a week. So they are really like it's a very tedious process.
Yeah,
What
and
I
the
did,
same issue is
I
with
did
AMU.
yeah. What I did was I didn't even know that we had to attach a detailed transcript. I just scanned the my grade cards and uploaded it because I didn't had any mental like Hamza bhai to guide me. I just uploaded my grade cards and it got through
No,
somehow.
that is why it's always good that the first thing you do is you read the whole their page. This app before filling in the application, before starting it. I literally didn't start the application for like 15 days. I had the transcript just one day before the deadline. So
What is
that is
transcript?
when they gave it to me. So it's very like it's like you're taking a risk. But then I was like, okay, if I get the transcript, I'll apply. Otherwise, I will leave it. So it's just that.
Transcript is a detailed document about your what your performance you had in your academic years. Like, and one more thing, take care of the LORs in time to make sure you get them in time too because this it can be a hectic process,
Yeah,
especially
apply.
in Jamia. It
Ask
will be
for
a
the
hectic process for sure.
professor. No, for him because he approached a professor who wasn't maybe very much willing to give him. But then the professor I approached, he was like, okay, okay, of course, you people
You
deserve
got
it. And
lucky.
I'm
You
giving
got
you.
lucky. Okay. You approach the
We
right
have
person
to
at the
think
right
in
time.
advance to do things.
You
We
approach
have
the
to
right
think
person at the
before
right
we do.
time.
Yeah, maybe.
I would like to add to this for the Jamin students that in case you do not receive a transcript on time, so please do upload the mark sheet as Anik did. So at times it happens that Mitecs do not look into that detail, and at Jamia the transcripts and mark sheets are quite similar, so that works. So
Okay,
that is,
so
for
in
example,
our case,
in this case, Laiba and Anik has submitted, but some of the students for the reason of transcript did not submit their application, and that is
like
why
in my friend
they
left,
lost
she
the chance.
didn't do. Yeah, she didn't apply. We only had the result for 2 semesters, and they asked for like till fourth semester. So in the other two, I only listed the subjects that I had studied in the 2 semesters, and I just uploaded a PDF of that. So that would help professors to know what subjects you've studied and what, just like that. So you should know what, like, submit something at least. Don't just leave it. It's important for you to do that.
Okay. So what are things a second year student can focus on right now that might help in getting the internship?
Depends on what internships you want, what kind of internship. Like if it's CS based, you go for like learning programming and stuff. And if it is subject based, then you should maybe take like study a little. I don't know what should I say, because I literally don't know about a lot about my subjects. So because it was all online, so we haven't done very deep study. Kamzamya knows it well. Yeah.
Yeah, make sure your mind whether you want to go in the research field or in the industry field. Choose accordingly.
Okay, so given the time I have till the application, should I try to focus in a particular domain to make projects or try to cover different domains of deep learning? What would the professor prefer from a candidate in this regard?
So yeah, basically it is a very vast field. What you can do is you can choose a field in machine learning. Like I chose image processing and stuff. So you can work on it. Like at least have 2 to 3 projects on it. Do not go for multiple things at one time, because that would, like, you won't even learn anything if you go that far. Just try to focus on 1 to 2 things. Like if you are doing image processing, go for it. If you are doing NLP, go for that, and then try to find projects that are related to the same thing. And the yeah, I think this worked in my case. I don't know if this doesn't work in other people's cases, like they have done multiple projects in different deep learning topics, and it might work for them. But as far as I know, and I have discussed with my friends, it doesn't work. Like if you are mentioning thousands of things in your CV, so that really means that you are not quite sure what you know and what you don't know. So just focus on one, and then try to do good in that field only. So yeah, that's from my experience.
Okay, so do college from which we study ranking do impact in getting internship?
No,
Maybe
I
they
don't
do,
think so.
because this my senior, he told me when I told him that I have been accepted in the University of Toronto. So he was like, "Wow, literally, even like generally IITians get there." So that is what he said again and again. Like 3 times I had been on a call with him. So he was like, again, generally IITians do. So maybe the professors, uh, they know about universities as well, so they search for universities who have good ranking maybe. So we can't say, we
Yeah,
can't be
but
sure.
don't get disheartened just because of
Yes, of
the
course,
fact
it
that you are
depends on
not
your
in the.
CV. I think mostly it is about
Yeah,
the resume, what you have to offer them.
yeah, yeah. Because a lot of students from private universities in Noida around Delhi got selected for it too. So it mostly depends on your resume and a bit on your university.
And sometimes the vice versa also happens, that you have a good profile and you have uh, good projects and everything, but still where you have applied, you have not been matched or selected. So, and at times you are selected a place that are lower in rank to your university. But despite of all these things, the work that is happening at the moment in Canada is cutting edge research. So anything happening in Canada is much better in IT. I want to give an example. For example, the research project I was working and I'm still working on is much better than what is happening at IIT. So this is an important thing to consider. So at times you also do not consider the ranking of the university. You see how good the work is going on there. So that's also a thing to take care of.
Okay, so how to prove that we are really interested in that project? How to prove that in our CV?
I
Okay,
think,
I think the
yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so I think the best thing would be elaborate a bit on your past research projects. I think that's the best direction to go in. So, for example, that it might be relevant to if I speak from personal experience. For me, I was already working on development of AI hardware for AI, and so I had a bit of I did a bit of study in that direction, and so it was I just went with that I've done this, and this is my problem statement. And then so that I had all written in my CV, and then in my statement of purpose I elaborated on that I already have done research project in that direction, and I found this problem with this, and I want to further explore it. So yeah. But if you want to, you don't have that much of research experience, and you want to shift direction, I think you can just go back to your academics, and you can talk about that you have done extensive study of maybe digital systems or this, and you have covered these topics, and therefore you want to go in that direction, I think, if you do not have projects in that field.
Okay,
And
I would like to
I
add to
think
this. Yeah. So in my case, I remember that all the projects and internship I did was not related to what I've been invited for. So I changed all the thing into one direction and said that I have covered all the related topics in my engineering, and the only thing left was your project. And this was a great elevator pitch, I must say. And when I told him that I'm exploring it, and that is the reason I'm going for it. So he was excited about it, and he said, "Okay, we are good to go with that." So this also
Yeah,
happened.
the best place you can show your interest and prove your interest in the project is in the interview itself. They will judge you in the interview that whether you genuinely have interest in that project or not.
okay. So, what kind of prerequisites are required for mechanical engineer students for Mitex, and what all are there for Mac students in Mitex?
Do you know? That's all I know in mechanical. But maybe I think mechanical people can also apply in computer related projects. They can apply in machine learning and that stuff. So yeah.
Yeah, but they can apply in core too because the process is just the same. You have to show a research experience in your field, a good knowledge of your field. That's all.
It basically depends on the field that you're working in. The branch doesn't matter according to me. Like I have friends in mechanical engineering who are doing wonderful stuff at deep learning. So yeah, if you're not doing stuff in core mechanical engineering, you can definitely choose another field, work on it, and get some projects because the professor won't see your branch. They will just see your projects, your internships and stuff. So yeah, I think if you do not want to do stuff with core in mechanical engineering, you can try your hands on different things. That will work
Exactly.
for you.
The best thing about these internships is that you can apply anywhere in any field, and they, of course, the professors don't really see what your branch is, but they decide or based on your resume. So what you list there, if it's important to them, they will accept you.
Okay, so what are the qualities to get in foreign internship? Is AMU or Jamia most number of internship happen?
IITs are where the most number of internships is happening, and I guess AMU is doing pretty well. JAMA is lagging a bit behind. We need to catch up.
Yeah, I don't think I should brag about it, but I just want to mention that this year from maybe I think more than 22, 23 students got selected from Mitacs. So yeah,
And here
and
we were
our
searching for
ranking is
people.
below Jamia. So just to sort of substantiate the other question.
Yeah, yeah. Good for you. Are you people are doing
Yes,
great?
that we accept. This year we have two people here and one in dad wise. So we really have to uh, cover it up.
So, how to study and understand machine learning and do our first.
Okay, yeah, so this is a very difficult question. It differs from person to person. Like,
Even I want to know this because even I have to. Yeah, my project is based on.
even I don't know how to do this. It's like you practice. I think the thing that worked for me is that more like most of my friends are doing theory part in machine learning and they did not go for the practical implementation for it. What I did was I just got into the practical implementation. I read about it because you cannot just mug up all the theory and after 2 years if somebody will ask you what is linear regression and how do you solve this problem in this and that, you might not know the answer. But if you have done this like hands on, so you must know it, like you know it because you have been doing it since long. So what I did was I just admitted myself into some of the Udemy courses, and I also tried my hands on Coursera machine learning courses. There's this course by Andrew Ng which is quite famous, so you can start because that is like the basics of machine learning. So you can just start with it. Then you should have knowledge of OOPS and Python recursion and all of that stuff, and this will like provide you with good things with machine learning. And yeah, that's all from my side. Like just go on, just try doing stuff with your hands, like try don't just mug up all the theory and try solving probability and stuff. So yeah, that's all. But some of my friends really did like gone on the theory part of it and they are doing pretty well too. So yeah, it works for you whether you choose to go on the theory side on the
Even I
practical side.
started with the theory, but then my sister, she was also working on a project. So she told me to assist her, and that is like the best part is that you learn from a project
Yeah.
when you do something that helps you a lot. So that is when I got to know, okay, this is how you do it. So yeah, it's important if you implement.
Just to add to this about I really love the Andrew NG course, and I'm not really into machine learning. I'm more into the hardware side of it. But I my machine learning I learned the first course I did was Andrew NG, and if online courses are for you, then I think you should definitely go for it. It's a very brilliant course, and he's updating that course too. So it's now involving, I think he's bringing now into Python, which is more relevant, and he's updating the new things. So I think if that course becomes available and if it's free, I think you should definitely at least give it a try and then see if it works for you or not.
Okay, Canada Montreal University internship benefits and how to get internship in Canada Montreal.
I guess all of the Mitacs internship will have the same benefits. If you want to go in Montreal specifically, what you can do, you have to select 7 projects. In that 7 project, you have to select projects from 3 different provinces. You can do is select 5 projects from Montreal and 2 projects from other different provinces. That is all you can do, and the benefits are all same for Mitacs internship.
Okay, so what are some of the things that make a project printed in international magazine?
So, I don't think any of anyone here has a paper
I
published
think
in.
Hamza bhaiya should answer this.
Yeah, Hamza, right, go ahead.
No, I don't think we have reached that level yet. Uh, any one of us who has been doing PhD could have. Let's move ahead.
Okay, Okay. Can you tell about your VLSI project before you applied there?
I think it's for me. So so I hadn't completed the project. I had, I was just 1 or 2 months into it, and so the project was the implementation of a neural network, specifically the spiking neural network on an FPGA. So yeah, and at that time we had just completed the software model for it, and to be very truthful, I we have just completed the project last month. So it still went on. So yeah, that was the project. I don't think it classifies into pure VLSI or not, but yeah. So we used the very long language to develop the hardware for the neural network, and yeah, that was it.
Okay. Could you please throw some light on HDL projects you did?
SDL projects. Okay, so yeah, that was my first SDL project. I started off really simply, and I was guided through SDL by Hamza Bhai, and he just recommended me some books and some Udemy courses. And the first projects are, they're really popular. You build at a you try to build a very simple ALU and stuff like that. And then after I think I got that basics rights, I just directly went into the implementation of neural network. And as have already been discussed by Ifra and Laiba, that you learn the most by doing. So I learned most of the SDL through that project. And the project which I am currently working on is a bit of more. It's a deeper neural network, and we're trying to bring that into FPGA. So yeah, I think I've just worked on one major VLSI project, HDL project. Yeah.
Okay, so no more questions now. I think Q&A is done. So now we have come to the end of the session. Now I would like to call our Vice Chairperson Mariam Fatima for vote of.
Ashma, before calling Anirudh, I would like each one of you to have one motivational something about your juniors, so that they will be excited to apply for Mitacs.
Okay,
Let's
so
start from Ifra.
Sorry, Hamza bhai, I couldn't hear your question. Can you just repeat?
Yes, I wanted you guys to have one motivational quote or something to motivate
Okay.
our audience, so that,
Motivational quote.
or anything, something that motivates them to apply for Mitacs.
Okay. I really can't think of any quote right now. But uh,
I'll tell you, hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard.
okay, that's
Nice
cool.
one.
You can apply to Mitacs because firstly, like while applying, I could one thing that I could notice is that the application, it is very simple, and throughout, like till now, they guide you very well with the mails and everything. The professors, they're very sweet, and even the mentors that they offer, they're really helpful. So everything that they do is properly planned and like really good. So it's good if you apply there, you get to know more. It's very helpful. You should, and you get a lot of experience. Plus, one important thing is that while you choose your project, the most important part in your application is choosing a project. So there are like 7 projects that you have to choose, a minimum of 3 or maximum 7. You'll go for 7, of course. So just keep in mind that you read the project requirement very carefully, because what they want from you and what your resume carries is very important. If you provide them what they want, then of course you have more chances of getting selected. So yes, one important thing. Otherwise, you can choose based on your interest and other, like your province and stuff like that as well.
Yeah, just apply to a bunch of internships. Don't worry about the result. Just do the application process correctly.
My
What I
sister
did was,
told me, to apply in DAD as well after applying to my tag. And I was like, no, I don't want to. It's enough. Like, one is enough. And then I didn't apply. But then I got it selected. Yes, I'm
to
happy.
be honest, what I after interview, I was not hopeful that I will get selected. I was preparing for that because I was determined to,
You apply to DAD as well.
yeah. I no, I couldn't. The thing is, I got all the documents I
It is a
required from
little
the job.
tedious. You have to mail professors
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's
Listen,
something. Yeah.
listen. So what I got every document I needed from the German university, but I couldn't get every document from my home university. That's why I couldn't submit my, because you have to mail and stuff, physically mail, and I couldn't do it in time. That's why my application never got completed. And I did my interview and I just forgot about it. And I just, when they received mail, I got selected in my case. I was
After
like,
giving the
good.
interview, I was happy. Okay, a professor approached. I gave an interview. Even I didn't get selected. Even if I didn't get selected, I was like, okay, fine. At least
Yeah,
I
yeah.
gave an interview. But then, yeah, the good thing is that we got selected. So.
And one more thing, because of the COVID and stuff, the vaccination eligibility criteria is also there. Like in the Saudi Arabia internship, they only accepted Pfizer and Moderna, these vaccinations. That is one thing you should also look out for.
I don't think I can give a motivational quote, but I think the one thing I've learned is that don't underestimate yourself. I mean, you can achieve a lot more, and never think that something is unachievable. It does sound cheesy, but it's true. I've seen students from AMU and from Jamia getting into, top 10 universities of the world, into, top companies of the world, into Meta, into, and in their third year itself, Morgan Stanley. And it does not matter where you are. It does, if you just put your mind into it, and you have the right people to guide you. It's fairly easy to get there. And don't underestimate yourself on saying that, I do not have the right environment for that, or I'm not meant for that. How can I grab something which is so far off? You just have to take the first step, I think. Yeah.
You can always approach us, like, whenever you want, you have questions. If you ever have, then you can always ask. So just don't think, I won't reply for the next 3 months. I'm telling you. But after that, I do.
Yeah.
Because of the time difference, or just because you would be enjoying?
Because I'll be busy, of course. And
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. So now I would like to call Mariam Fatima, the Vice Chairperson of IEEE JMI, for vote of thanks.
Thank you so much, Ashma. Okay, so first of all, I really
Yeah.
enjoyed this particular event. Yeah, sorry.
Please turn on your camera.
I'm really sorry, I'm not in the state of turning on the camera. Please do oblige me for that. So yeah, it was a really great event. We all really enjoyed it. First of all, thank you so much, all of you, from the bottom of my heart. And it gives me an immense pleasure to deliver this vote of thanks for this particular event to all the dignitaries who are present over here. So first of all, I would like to thank our guest speakers who are present over here, including Laiba Khalid, Ifra, Mohammad Zain, and Kunwar Anil Khan. Thank you so much for being a part of this particular event and sharing your experiences and making this event to be much more insightful. Thank you so much for being here. Next, I would like to thank Syed Mohammad Hamza for monitoring this event so nicely and making it more informative. Thank you so much, Syed Mohammad Hamza. Next, I would also like to thank the host of this particular event, that is Arshma, for making this event to be really engaging. Arshma, you did a really great job. So hats off. Thank you so much for doing this event or making this event to be more grateful and a very, very good success. Next, I would also like to thank the volunteers who have worked really hard, the backend team of IEEE JMI, including the graphics team, the content writing team, the social media team, the event managing team, the PRHR team, who had put in a lot of work to make this event a great success. So thank you so much, all of you. Lastly, I would like to thank our beloved audience for coming out in this particular event and making this a great success. Thank you so much, all of you, for being over here. Once again, thanks to all of you who are present over here. By this, I'm Mary Fatma signing off.
Okay, so now it is requested to all of you to fill the feedback form given in the chat box before leave.